Okay, well, we're putting in about 50 microvolts. Probably the meter's reading a little bit higher. This is the noisy at the moment, Kenwood TS680S, and I'm proposing to possibly send this over to a good mate of mine in Adelaide, Doc, who loves Kenwoods. He actually inquired about Yaesus today, and I said, what? He loves Kenwoods. I've never... I was surprised. No, he loves everything. But by the same token, this is for a application that he's got, and I think this will do what he needs to do, quite honestly. It's not an expensive radio, but it's a great way to get into, a lot of different bands, and you still get your 6 meters with this. And as you can see, as you go through, sorry about the blinking display, it's my shutter speed on this phone, but yeah, up to 6 meters there, and you get quite keep going back to where my tone is. That's it. These are a good 100 watt radio. They will vary a bit up and down the bands a bit. Over the years I've found that the 680s, 440s, 140s, all of them, depending on how they're going and their output stages, etc., they do vary a little bit. Strangely enough, some bands can be better than others, but generally, actually, I've already had a quick check of this one, and it's looking quite good. If anything, the ALC on this it's probably been peaked a little bit to what they did on these, and they did the same on the TS2000, etc. You could play with them a little, and especially on 7 and 3.5, 1.8, you could get them on sideband to actually really push a bit harder, and they were quite impressive. But you got to be careful. You can take the control too far over, and sure, they're showing humongous power, but you've got to be careful. Anyway, let's just have a quick look. Look, I'll just wind that level down. Oops, that's up. I just want to make sure we're getting down into the noise. Hang on, turn the volume up. Yep. That wasn't that. 0.5 a microvolt. Still hearing it. So yeah. All right, let's get rid of the tone noises. It's all very impressive, but yes, we'll turn the volume down. Okay, so just want to get a bit of a rough idea. Power. Look, these things will vary a little bit around the place, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, yeah, plenty of power there. Let's just go up to 28 megs. 1, 2. Hello. Hang on. Sorry, that would be better. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, look, plenty of power. They're generally pretty good. They drive pretty well, and but normally what I like to do is just check top of the band, bottom of the band. Actually, speaking of the bottom of the band, you do want to check 160, 1, 2, 3, 1. Yeah, look at that. 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, it's probably peaking a little bit on 160 there, but that's not unusual for these things. They certainly, I always found 160, 80 meters and 40 meters, they were brilliant performers. They could just, for some reason, just get that little bit of extra power down low compared to say their 10 meter power, and they were strictly. Look, I've seen 680s where just because they're getting a bit older now, they're lucky to hit say 80, 85 watts on 10 meters, but they're still going incredibly well on say 160 and 80, 40, etc., etc. Just checking the middle. Always good to see just where the middle is. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, no, we've got plenty of power there. Look, yeah, working well. Look, these were a great. They weren't the most expensive radio back in the day, but they were well put together, and with a few filters, quite amazing what you can actually do with them. This is the one that did have the dual noise blanker, so you had a few options for different types of noise. A lot of people didn't like the slide controls. Actually, I was talking to a client recently who he took out every one of these and actually put in rotational controls, and he said he fell in love with the radio all over again, in doing that. Now, look, I don't know, drilling holes in the front of a perfectly good radio probably is not everybody's bag, but I do get what he means. These controls here can get a bit sticky, and even looks a bit dodgy, but even there, I just felt the power. Look at that. Bit of deoxit, and suddenly that just slides beautifully. But these older controls, slide controls, can get a little bit sort of touchy, and as messy as that looks there, yeah, actually this is probably not a bad thing to do right now. And we just give them a little squirt. And I know it's you're probably thinking, hey, you know, should you be doing this? Yeah, we should, trust me. We get through the felt there, and it gets into the control, and you can feel it straight away that it loosens up, and it absolutely feels much better. And you know, it's not such a bad idea, because they can get a bit clunky. And yeah, my client got a little bit fed up with the fact that he used them a lot, and he was forever changing levels, and he just wanted to be able to, you know, not have that happen. Now, I would have said buy a can of deoxit, and you'll anyway. It's okay. I gave him 10 points for creativity, no question about that. So the basically 160 through to 6 meter radio. You could put it into 1 meg allotments, so you could actually make a beautiful, you know, HF communications receiver out of it, and it just kept going. I think it took a break in a second. Oh no, it didn't. Oh yes, it did. There we go. 34 megs through to 45, 46, and it just keeps going up to 54. I'd say 5, 6, 7. Wrong. So how's that? Up to virtually 60 meg, I suppose. So there you go. You know how good that receiver is on some of those bands. It probably doesn't quite meet the spec if we were to inject signals. Sorry, one band we didn't check for transmit, and I haven't checked it. I better check it. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hey, hello 1 2. Hello 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 hello. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now from memory, the 680, and check me out on this, but I'm trying. Oh, hang on a minute. 680 was it decreased power on 6 meters? I'll just have a bit of a look here, because I honestly can't remember. Let's have a look. 160 6 meter band. Look at that. 6 meter band, 10 watts. Okay, because otherwise I would have said we had a problem on 6 meters. So that's okay. So 10 watts on 6 meters, 100 watts on HF, and when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, look, apart from that, there's not a lot to test on these things. You know, we certainly could, should make sure. Let's just put a signal in at 50 points, not 50 points, 50.1. Let's put a signal at 50.1, because it is a separate stage on these things. You know, you could literally have a problem that you're not aware of. I'm at 0.5 a microvolt, and I can hear it, and let's see if we can make that signal more. Yep, noisy. It's all right. I just wanted to check 6 meters receive, because I actually had forgotten. I had not checked 6 meters receive or transmit on this thing, so it's good to just check these things before we send them off to good mates, you know, sort of, etc., etc. And if I remember, I didn't think the RF amp was overly brilliant on this thing. You can hear it cracking in there. Let me just, hang on. Oh no, okay, sorry. Bit loud. No, the RF amp's working. Sorry, I just wasn't 100% sure. Was it the RF amp only worked on? I'm trying to remember if that was a 6 meter function or. Anyway, it seems to be sort of doing what it should be doing, but I wasn't sure the RF amp worked on 6, so obviously they spread that across. Apart from that, really, there's not a lot else to show you on on one of these. Yes, they have a receiver incremental tuning. Yes, they have RIT and IF shift is typical of most Kenwoods. Yes, it has memory, so we can go VFO to memory. There is absolutely, by the look of it, nothing in there. That's where it is. Now, on 680s and every Kenwood known to man, just be aware. Have a look at what I'm doing here. See how it debounces? The rotary encoders on these things, they work, and as they get older, this one's actually not too bad. I'm just going up by number. As I click each time, see that? 4, how it went back to 4 then? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. See what I mean? So sometimes what happens on rotary encoders on these old Kenwoods is sometimes they interpret an up versus a down the wrong way. And this is what sometimes, this one's working. It's got a little bit of debounce in there where it's doing something a bit strange every now and again. Would you replace the rotary encoder at this stage? No. Look, for the amount of times you ever use the thing, no. But just be aware that, yes, that can be something that, actually I'm glad we went into the memory function just to show that, because it's important, especially for you, Doc, to know that too. But hang on, where are we going? There we go, sorry. So let's go back down and see, for instance, if we go, see how we're going up with the rotary encoder, and that's, there you go, just did one backwards. Every now and again you'll find the rotary encoder will just do something a little bit. This is very common, and actually just how you, this is how you fix it. I know it sounds terrible. We're going to actually just deoxit this one. It's possible that might help, because I can just feel with a bit of pressure that not so bad actually. Yeah, look at that. No, there's still a little bit of debounce there, but look, I wouldn't worry about it. It's not a huge issue on them. You can change the rotary encoder. It's a very simple job to do. We actually found the rotary encoder off the 990s fitted these, and they were actually cheaper to buy than buying the with that, just about any common rotary encoder will work in there quite well, that's been used in any of the Kenwood range. They generally all sort of followed the same format, but anyway, minor. Apart from that, VFO is working beautifully, and that's another thing you want to check, is that you've got no sort of tight spots or anything silly happening with your VFO when you're buying old Kenwoods. They can have some funnies, no question. Got to remember, these radios are getting a bit older these days. They're starting to, take on water a little bit as such. This one's going to come with the original Kenwood mic, so that's sort of nice that it's, and will come with a Kenwood power cord. So that's pretty much it. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm happy with what I'm seeing here. We can't really do an on-air test on it tonight. We have a massive storm going over. It's funny, we had one last Tuesday night which stopped the Sundowner net on 7122 with Steve, VK3 SMW, and I couldn't even hear Steve. I normally hear Steve 20 over 9. Well, I had noise that was 40 over 9. Guess what? Tonight's the same. We've got massive noise, and we've disconnected the lightning storm that was outside. We've disconnected everything. Sort of even here we're just on dummy load. So yeah, I tell you what. Hey, got a new bird meter coming soon too, by the way. Big thank you to Jason over there in Canberra. It's the same model. Okay, let me tell you quickly. It's the 4314 that this is here, but it's got the new enhanced PEP kit in it, and it's a marvel. It really is. And he had it for sale with a few slugs, 3 slugs with it as well. And anyone knows me knows that I've got 1 or 2 slugs. Hang on, where's my collection of slugs? Oh God. Yeah, okay, there's more on the floor over here. Yeah, and there's more. Actually, I've got about 30 slugs around the place, and I still don't have. I need some 5 kilowatt and 10 kilowatt slugs for testing some of the ACOM combiner systems that we do, and we've had to do some non-bird ways to measure those. We've got meters to do that, but I would love to do it with my bird, especially the new one we're getting. So if you've got any 5 or 10 kilowatt slugs for bird meters, save me having to buy them from the US. We're getting to that point where we've got to give up soon and get some over. All right, there you go. Cheap. They're not a lot of money. You'll buy one of these for $500 every day of the week, and you get a great HF radio. It is just superb audio, beautiful transmit signals on these things, and once again, if you add some filters as well, you can go next level as well with sideband and CW. Doc's a bit of a CW man, and doesn't he love a CW filter? Anyway, fantastic. Thanks for having a quick look at this. This one we're going to call. It's a goer. It's as I said to Doc, it's not our cleanest radio. It needs a bit of a repaint on this top section, but the front actually is not too bad, and it seems to be a nice worker. So anyway, for $500 these days, I'll tell you what, you're actually, I think, getting a lot of radio. I look at the marketplace out there these days, and I think sometimes some of the older Kenwoods, they represent good value for money for really the technology you're getting. Sounds like I'm trying to sell the radio that's already sold, but yeah, it is. It's sort of my true feelings. I love the old Kenwoods, right through down to the 440s. 430s have become a bit problematic, to be fair. 440s, I think, is, your starting point. Not really. You know what? I still love an old 120 or 130. So there you go. All right, 73s, all the best. Thanks for having a look at it. Please subscribe. We're trying to get a few more subscribers. Please hit the like button because someone told me that's important. And yeah, cheers, guys.